Well, all I've heard since the new government have come in is blaming the Tories.
That's because it's their fault.
Well, can I just finish what I was going to say? Had they realised that the pensioners haven't necessarily got savings...
That's because it's means tested. It's means tested,
increment.
Stephen. Right, it's means tested.
But it's so complicated, you have no idea.
Then blame the Conservatives, Stephen, because they have been in... It's like we're going around in a tight circle here. And then you'll say, well, you're getting sick and tired of them blaming the Tories for everything. They're only blaming the Tories for everything because it's their fault. Everything that is wrong with this country is the fault of the party that has been governing us for the last 14 years. Everything. How could it not be? Unless there were intractable problems that they inherited 14 years ago, that they worked diligently to try to fix, but they couldn't make any inroads. Name one thing like that. You can't. So everything is their fault. And it is entirely predictable. I said it was going to happen, but it is just dispiriting and kind of depressing that people insist that because everything is not fixed yet, it's Labour's fault. Crying out loud. It's just so infantile. All this country has done since Labour won the election is scream like a baby. And what's absolutely frightening is that people are so gullible. You know that it's not true that this is Labour's fault, that everything that is wrong with the country is Labour's fault, that schools that are falling down, riddled with asbestos and breaking concrete, and kids are being taught in porta cabins. You know that that's not Labour's fault. You know it's not Labour's fault that you wait for 6 months to see a consultant and then wait another 6 months to get an MRI scan. You know that's not Labour's fault. You know it's not Labour's fault that that wages have not kept up with inflation and that the super rich have got ever more super rich and the rest of us have just been slaving away and getting nothing for it. We create wealth, but we don't actually enjoy any of it. Like used to be the case in the 50s and the 60s and in the 70s, in fact. I mean, wealth has been created and the wealth of billionaires has gone stratospheric over the past few years, particularly since COVID, and none of the rest of us have enjoyed any uplift from it. And you know that's not Labour's fault, but you're blaming them anyway. It's just absolutely ludicrous. I mean, Keir Starmer must be pulling his hair out. And there's this idiotic poll that came out today that said, Britain's on course for a hung parliament. God, we're like 4.5 years out, and already they're writing them off. And people are people are so easily led on this, on things that they know aren't true. I mean, nothing that I just said a reasonable person could blame on the Labour Party, but they're blaming them anyway. They're instinctively blaming them anyway. And it's infuriating, because it does mean that we're so gullible now, we're so prone to believe any old nonsense that's thrown at us as long as it, twangs our distaste for anyone who is other than us. Stop the boats, that kind of thing. Like, that's our problem. 30 bedraggled, damp people who show up on a dinghy in Dover. Like that's while 1 million people sail through Heathrow with a visa. No, let's concentrate on the 30 people in the dinghy because, they're an easily identifiable minority and we just pick on them. It's just it's just so predictable. And it's terrifying because if they can get you to believe that, something that you know isn't true, they can get you to believe anything. And now we've got the world's richest man, who's like I think the Guardian called him the world's biggest pub bore, which is exactly what he is. He's telling us that up is down and he wants to basically run this country. And there's just enough gullible people who would love him to do it, just as long as it upsets the libs. I can't stand it anymore. I really can't. I have zero patience now You don't have any patience either. They want everything fixed immediately, and they don't have to pay for any of it. There's that too. Yeah, we want an excellent NHS, and we want an excellent police service, and the fire brigade, and we want the army back to proper numbers again, and we want battleships, and we want street lights, and we want infrastructure, and we want the potholes fixed, and we want clean water, and we want to get the sewage out of our rivers, and on and on and on and on and on, but we don't want to pay for any of it. Oh, because that's socialism, that is. It's just, this entire country seems to have lost its mind since the election. It's just been one long scream. I can't deal with it anymore. But I do wish you all the best, Stephen. Thanks for that.